Welcome to Crawford County Outdoors. I'm Duane Koller, and we are at Antlers and Anglers, and we're with the godmother of Antlers and Anglers, Joan Kocher. Joan, welcome to Crawford County Outdoors, and tell us about Antlers and Anglers.
Well, this is our, I think, fourth one. It's at the Crawford County Fairs. It's actually a community initiative through Armstrong to bring local vendors together. And we've got seminars going on, and behind us is the hog trough, the 2,500-gallon aquarium, where on the other side is where the seminars are, from anything from archery to hunting to kids fishing, you name it.
So I called you the godmother of Crawford County Outdoors and Antlers and Anglers. So
that's right.
How did this get off? Where did this come from? Where did the idea come from?
Well, actually, it initiated as a chamber event when we were on the board, and I was on the board, and we always thought this is the wheelhouse of our subscribers. And it started there, and then Armstrong took it over, and they decided to make it their own. And all of our systems, pretty much down through Butler, over in Medina, Ohio, they also put one on. They're all a little bit different, but the main purpose is to make it a venue for what's in our own backyard.
My dog Crash came along with me today. There's lots of stuff he's interested in, so I'll get him out in a little bit here to let him poke around too. But it seems like a lot of folks are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, we had a great crowd. Started early this morning. I think the weather sometimes helps and hurts you. It died off a little bit early. We're on tomorrow, but I guess this won't be on till then anyways. But we had a real nice crowd, and we do raise money for Hunt of a Lifetime and also for local food pantries. The admission was $2 or 2 cans of food, and a lot of people brought in more than 2 cans of food and gave us more than $2.
So our local programming show, Crawford County Outdoors, is a great connection.
And you're the
with
godfather
this.
to that.
I'm calling you the godmother of all that stuff. So what do you think? Down the road, this is something that everybody likes. We're going to keep this going on?
I'd love to see it grow. I'd like to see more vendors get involved. Again, I'm trying to make them ask them to own the event. And we've already got interest from other ones, and some that couldn't make it this year are definitely coming back next year. So we're tweaking it, and we're open to suggestions. All of the vendors have a survey that they're going to put in their little suggestions on how to make this grow.
Now, over your shoulder, by your elbow, I see some crazy-looking tree stands. What's up with that?
Every year so far, Forever Broadcasting does Trick a Tree Stand, and they get 5 finalists, and they all come in and put their tree stands up. Tree stands are donated by Boot Box, and the winner gets a trip to Nashville, Tennessee this year.
So they're kind of crazy. Some of them are pretty neat, but yeah, that's interesting. I've heard a lot of talk about the crazy tree stands. So.
And it's a People's Choice Award type thing. When you come in to the entrance gate, you get a ballot and you put in the appropriate box which one you like. So they'll announce the winner tomorrow, and then they'll do it again next year, hopefully.
Well, Joan Kocher, the godmother of Antlers and Anglers, thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you, Godfather.
We're joined by Ed Moss. Now, Ed, you're the president of the local chapter, Pheasants Forever?
Yes, the Northwest Pennsylvania chapter of Pheasants Forever.
Tell us a little bit about the organization.
Well, Pheasants Forever is a national organization, and it is a conservation organization. And we specialize in habitat reproduction, improving any kind of habitat, planning, and preserving habitat that we have left, not just for pheasants, but for all upland birds can benefit by it. And, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, give me some advice now. I do have some property out in the country a little bit, and I want to improve it habitat-wise. What would I do?
Okay, well, the first thing you need to do is contact us, and I'll put you in touch with our habitat chairperson, and he will give you some pointers on exactly what you want to plant based on your property layout and your water base and so on like that. He can, that's what he does.
Now, my property has a little bit of a wetland area. It has an old pasture area, and it has some woods. So,
I mean,
I could still have some property that the deer would like and pheasants would like too.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can improve habitat for all animals.
What are you doing here at the Antlers and Anglers today? What's the event that's going on?
Okay, this is it's put on by Armstrong. It's Antlers and Anglers expo type thing. It does benefit the local food bank. But what we're doing here today is we're allowing the kids an opportunity to come in and see what we do. We're a very youth-oriented chapter. We have the BB game range set up, as you can see. All kids come through, they can shoot free, and they can also take a chance to win a free BB gun tomorrow. We're giving 2 BB guns away. We partnered with Field and Stream that they allowed us to purchase the BB guns. So that's what we're doing here today, and spreading the word on what we do as far as habitat and conservation and on our youth programs.
Now, I brought my dog Crash along today, and he loves to go hunt pheasants with me, and I bet there's some other ones around too, but I see some other folks here with dogs. You know, talk a little bit about what kind of partner maybe you need to have to help your pheasant hunting.
Well, obviously dogs are a great partner to have if you're a pheasant hunter. And there's all sorts of dogs. We've got members that have the Brittany's, we've got Springer Spaniels, we've got Labrador Retrievers, you name it, we have it. And they're all great dogs. There is no bad dog.
Now, you mentioned about the kids, the activity here. There's a kids pheasant hunt coming up prior to the regular season? Okay.
Yes, there is. Every year the Game Commission holds 1 week off to the side just for youth hunts. And actually youth from 12 to 16 years of age can hunt all week long on their own with their dad or mom or whoever. However, we put on 2 hunts on both Saturdays, October 11th and the 18th. And it's totally free for the kids. We give the kids lunch. We have a lot of volunteers on hand with good dogs to take the kids out to really give them a great opportunity to see what it's like in a natural hunting situation.
I volunteered with my sportsman's club on an event like that in the past, and what's better than getting the kids involved, getting the next generation involved in hunting, and I think that's going to preserve something that you and I probably both love for future generations going down the road.
Absolutely, you're correct. That's what it's all about, getting these kids out there and getting involved and introducing them, not just to hunting, but to all shooting sports, you know, and making it possible for them to do that and let them take it from there, and hopefully that we can make an impact, that they will enjoy doing it and continue the tradition on, so they will be helping our grandkids and their grandkids and so on and so forth.
Well, if somebody wants to get involved with Pheasants Forever, Ed, how would they go about it?
Well, you can contact us via the internet, nwpapf.org, or you can go to National's Pheasants Forever website, that's pheasantsforever.org. There's plenty of information there on how to join. We also have an annual banquet coming up this year. It's April 4th in Erie, PA at the Bayfront Convention Center. It is a membership banquet. There's lots of prizes we give away there. There's lots of activity for the family to do, not just for the guys themselves, but we have a lot of families. It is oriented towards that. It is a membership drive, great dinner, and great entertainment.
Well, Ed, thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for being here at the Antlers and Anglers today and having an event for the kids.
Thank you very much.
Joining us now is Rick Filippi from the Ruffed Grouse Society, and Crash is meeting your dog here, Rick.
Yep,
so
I got Blue. And
tell us about your dog.
Blue is a Llewellyn setter. He's 5 years old, and his favorite thing to do is hunt grouse. He also does pheasant too, but I live in the city, so normally what he's doing is chasing rabbits, but he's anxious to get out for the season.
Well, it's this time of year. I think dogs, I don't know if yours is like mine, but you walk past the gun cabinet and the dog's like, is it time? Is it time?
Oh, yeah. If you get him out to clean, he knows. He knows.
Well, tell us about the Ruffed Grouse Society. What's it about?
Well, we're really about habitat. That's the key to and conservation. We advocate, new growth, clear cuts, managed forests that produce new growth, and from that you get not only grouse populations, but you get a ton of songbirds, you get deer, you get turkey, you get bear, and everything else. So our main aim is to advocate, good habitat for regenerating forests.
I haven't seen many grouse for, 4 or 5 years, but I'm starting to see them again in the last year or so. Do they go? I've heard people say that. Do they go in a cycle where you have a down period, then an up period?
Yeah, I mean, that's the theory, is that there's an approximate 8 to 10 year cycle. And we're kind of coming out of a low point, it seems like right now, so things are getting better. But it's a lot of work to grouse hunt, because you got to find the covers, you got to find the clear cuts where the habitat is, and we don't really log as much as we used to in the States.
So that was my next question. I remember when I have found grouse, it seems like where the brush stops and the trees start, or where the trees start and the trees end and the swamp starts to begin. It seems like around the hemlock seems to be another spot. I've seen them before.
They're really an edge cover bird, new regenerating forest, 3 to 5 years, so it's really brushy stuff. It's hard to get through. If you're grouse hunting and you don't come home with some blood on you, you haven't been hunting hard enough. I mean, it's tough effort, and that's why the dogs help out a tremendous amount. So, we advocate through managed programs, managed forestry, and to create that new habitat for regenerating growth.
Are there events that help you raise funds and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have I represent the French Creek chapter, which is really a combination of the Erie chapter and the Meadville area. Okay. And we do this. We just had our banquet a couple weeks ago. It was our main fundraiser for the year. We do that. Today we're having a gun raffle, and the funds that we raise from that will be used for a habitat program somewhere in this area. So the funds come back into our area to try to get more growth, more birds out there.
Does someone apply for help to improve habitat on their private property, on public property?
Well, we really like to encourage, we do public property programs, but we also encourage private property owners who give access. We have biologists on staff that are assigned to this area, and they will work with local landowners to try to improve their habitat for grouse.
So just give us, I own some land, what might I do to improve? Now, it's funny, every time I go there, what I usually see is a grouse. Why does that happen? What do I need to do to make it better for grouse at my property?
Well, again, managed clear cutting, 20 acres or so if you can handle that, but a certain percentage of your acreage, at least 5 acres I would say, is probably a good thing, and do that in stages where you're going to have every so often you're going to have 5 to 7 years growth, and that's the prime habitat, maybe 7 to 9 to 10.
So when those trees are starting to come up and
when it starts getting tall, they say you should be looking for trees the size of pool cues. And they're real tough to get through. And once they start getting older than that, you're going to see the numbers decline at that point.
Very good. Well, thanks for being here at the Antlers and Anglers today. Thanks for giving us give us an update on
appreciate
the rough grouse.
Thank you very much.
Joining us now is Chris Snyder from Field and Stream. Chris, welcome to Crawford County Outdoors, and tell us a little bit about Field and Stream. I see the new stores opened up.
Yes, I'll tell you what, it's made a big impact in the area. Erie needed something like this store. You got the best of all worlds, fishing, hunting, and camping.
I've been up a couple times. It's beautiful. The decor, beautiful mounts and a nice setting there. It's beautifully done. Is that kind of like are all the stores like that?
Well, all the stores do have not the same taxidermy. It varies from anywhere from our Cranberry store to Washington to Erie. So you get a different look. So visit all of them.
Now, I saw in the news recently that is it Washington, PA? There's a new store that's just going to be opening or just did?
Just opened up, yeah. We have multiple stores that are going to be opening up. Here next 6 months, I believe we have 10 stores that are opening up.
I would think Western PA would be a good place for Field and Stream. There's a lot of folks around here who love their outdoor things.
Oh, absolutely. We got all of it, all worlds, from fishing to hunting to camping to everything.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on here at the Field and Stream, and you guys involved in some of the seminars.
Yes, we got myself, Chris Snyder, doing an archery, like a basic 101 seminar. You got Chris Sutton, who's doing a steelhead seminar, which is nice because that's the type of the seasons that we're in.
Now, teach me archery 101. I'm trying archery not for the first time, but maybe for about the second time here next weekend. So
okay.
Give me some pointers.
Pointers is you want to make sure you get your practice. It's all about practice. Doing the same thing over and over again. If you plan on hunting out of a tree stand or a blind, you definitely want to practice, shooting downhill. Out of the blind and downhill, and just know your equipment. You get confidence in your equipment, then you're going to do well in the outdoors.
Any magic tricks to get the deer to come by close?
A lot of corn. No, it's basically...
There's a cornfield next to my property.
There you
actually,
go.
So, yeah.
See, I see. I was right then.
Okay.
It's basically this time of year, you just make sure you want to follow certain guidelines throughout the season. Beginning of the season, you want to make sure you're using your good scent elimination, no scent. Towards the rut season, you want to make sure you follow the right type of scents for the right time of year.
Okay, give us a pointer on that. Now, if I'm preseason, maybe I might use some buck urine to, the buck's going to challenge the other buck, and then later on maybe you'd use doe urine.
Yeah, more of an estrus scent towards later on in the season. One of the biggest common mistakes is actually using that estrus scent too early, because it's a scent that the deer know that it's not going to be a natural scent at that time. Okay. So the first part of the season, use more of a curiosity scent, an apple scent, some sort of food scent works really well for me.
Now, what about sounds, calls and rattling and that sort of thing? Early on for that, or am I waiting for that?
Early on, it's kind of, if you're going to do like the rattling, it's a different type of rattling, not so hard, not so loud. It's more of a play rattling now, compared to later on in the season where it's a more aggressive fighting rattling.
Okay. Well, just in general, how's it going? I mean, the store's been open now since what, July?
July, yep, July 14th, I believe. I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable, the amount of people that come into the store. I'm real thankful. I'd closed my archery shop, my pro shop down to go work for a company like Field & Stream, and I'll tell you what, it's been a blessing. I mean, it's the amount of inventory that we have, the type of people that Field & Stream hired. You're not going to find a more knowledgeable staff anywhere in this country.
Well, Chris, thanks for being with us on Crawford County Outdoors. We appreciate it. And
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed the trip to the store. I'll be back.
Perfect. Hopefully see you there.
So joining us now is Chris Sutton from Field & Stream. Chris, you're the fishing guy. Tell us a little bit about the program there at Field & Stream.
The program at Field & Stream, it's a great shop. We have all the brands that you need, and we have a shop in the shop format at the entire store. So in the fishing department, we have a fly shop in the shop.
Now, before we went on the air, you were telling me a little bit about, you've got some background in fishing. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have a little bit of background. I was a charter captain on Lake Erie out of Ashtabula, Ohio. I've guided steelhead fishermen in the rivers in Ohio for a few years, and I'm just a all-around fishing fanatic. I love to fish.
A lot of people talk about the walleye fishing and so on in Lake Erie. Is that the thing? Is that the...
Walleye's the big deal on Lake Erie, and then after that it's probably steelhead, and then smallmouth bass and perch.
And any magic tricks to catch those walleye out there in the lake?
No, it's just preparation. It's all preparation. There are no tricks. There are no secrets.
What's the gear that you got to have to make that work?
If you're going to fish on Lake Erie, open water off of Erie, PA, you're going to troll for them out there. They're using lead core with Renoski lures or reef runners. That's the big technique in the Erie area right now.
Now, the salmon fishing, you catch them in the lake, you catch them in the streams.
Steelhead, typically they're growing up in Lake Erie. They spend the first 2 years of their lives, and then the second and fourth year, every other year, they make a run up the river to do a spawn. And during the summer months, they are in Lake Erie, and you could catch them in Lake Erie. But starting in September, October, November, they start making their runs up into the rivers, and that's where the shorebound and wading anglers have access for up to 8 months.
Okay, so
it's a big access.
Talk me through the gear I need for that one.
There's all kinds of techniques. I mean, the basic technique would be a steelhead rod with a float and egg sacs. That is the basic entry-level technique for steelhead in the rivers.
Do you need to wade in the river? Do you fish from the shoreline?
You don't have to, but wading gives you more versatility on location.
Okay.
So you could do it both ways.
Does the steelhead, does the bait move around? Does it need to lay still? How does that work?
You want to have a perfect drag-free presentation to a steelhead in the river. So you're going to drift the bait through the holes, and you want a perfect drag-free presentation. So it has to look natural to the fish for them to hit.
Now, Field & Stream, fairly new, opened just a few months ago.
Yeah,
how's it going?
We grand opened on June 13th this year, and it's just been a rush. It's phenomenal. I love working for Field & Stream, and it's just a great place to work, and it's great for Erie and all the customers that we service.
I've been up a few times. It's great. I'll be back. It's a wonderful thing. Thanks for being here at the Antlers and Anglers.
All right, thank you.
Thanks
I enjoyed being here. Have a good day.
Very good. Joining us now is Terry Probst from Hammerland. Am I saying it right?
Hammerland, yes.
Sporting dog equipment supplies. I have a dog. What do I need?
Anything that makes the dog and you happier.
Right now, he's excited. There's lots of stuff going on. He's wanting to check it all out. But,
right.
In preparation for the season, I just did get him a new bell.
Okay.
And I have a fluorescent orange collar that I put on him so I can see him and hear him.
See him and hear him.
They
That's
move pretty
important.
well in the high grass and so on. What else do I need?
Some of the big equipment out now are tracking collars. Garmin has a tracking collar with an extended range antenna, can track up to 20 miles on a dog. Don't lose your dog. You can also look on the Garmin and find out where they've been and what they've been up to and what their patterns are. So it's kind of a nice piece of equipment to add.
You hear that crash? Okay.
And any kind of correction collars also to get them to listen at a distance. We have orange check cords, so as you're working a young dog, you can bring them in and work them close to equipment. We have bird launchers too for training the dogs into birds.
I saw the bird launcher. How does that work?
I can show you.
Oh, all right, good.
It has a transmitter and receiver. I got a toy pheasant.
Hey, Crash, look at this. Look at this.
Put the bird down in there. Set it up. Make sure it's ready to go. Here you bring your dog in and get ready to have the bird flush. Get him up steady.
You're looking the wrong way. It's over here. Crash, it's over there.
Bird flying. That's a bird launcher. Pheasant duck size, quail pigeon size, so it helps. But usually the dogs at more of a distance, so they don't get so shocked by that. But when the bird goes up, they're more excited.
He's pretty excited all the way around. This is very good.
It's a good dog.
Well, what do you think? How's the Antlers and Anglers working out here? I think it's a great thing to have.
It's very good for a small community down Crawford County. Crawford County Fair is well known for all of its exhibits and anything that it performs with. I mean, it's a great place. So yeah, definitely Antlers and Anglers is a great place. Met a lot of nice people, a lot of people with different likes, and anything from the dogs to the fishing to the hunting. So yeah, it's been a good show.
Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Joining us now is Kathy Meigel from Tamarack Wildlife. Kathy, who do you got with you?
This is Pierre. He's a peregrine falcon, one of the rarest birds that you'll find here in Pennsylvania. There's only 40 known nests of them right now, and one in Erie County. He's been with us for 13 years. He was full grown when we got him, so we don't really know exactly how old he is, but he's definitely our showboat of our education birds, and he just loves people, and I would love to meet everybody.
Tell us a little bit about the breed. I don't know the peregrine very much. I've seen the red-tailed hawks around and some of the other ones, but...
Peregrine falcons are the fastest animal on the planet. When they're going into the dive after their prey, they have been clocked going up to 200 miles an hour. And when they're just flying straight through, they can do about 69 miles per hour. Typically, they like to live on cliff faces, but recently they've been introduced to cities, and they'll take care of the pigeon population while they live on top of all the skyscrapers. So falcons themselves usually hunt other birds. So you can see that his feathers are so sleek and hard that allows him to fly extremely fast.
I see another bird over your shoulder. What's the story there?
The one behind me, her name's Lady Hawk. She's a red-tailed hawk. She is 23 years old. She's been with us almost her whole life. Unfortunately, she was hit by a car and has a wing injury. But she loves these kind of programs too, so we'll always have her out.
So the reason the birds are with you is recovering or maybe not able to recover to get back into the wild?
At Tamarack, we have two basic goals. One of them is rehab, and then the second one is education. And all of our birds that we have here today as our education birds live with us on a permanent basis because they all have some form of disability. We do not take any birds on programs that will be released because we want to keep them as wild as possible. But all of our birds here do have an injury.
I remember seeing a show you had done one time, and I can't remember if it was at the Meadville Medical Center or where I work for my regular job. But you take out and about. Is it possible to someone to call you if they would like to have a presentation?
Oh, absolutely. We travel all over the place. You can find us on Facebook, and we also have a website, tamarackwildlife.org. It has all of our information on it, all of the pricing and the different programs we do. So absolutely give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk.
Well, thanks for what you're doing. That's a great thing. And where does someone find you if they want to come to the site?
Oh, absolutely. We are in Sagertown on Stall Road. We do ask that you would call us ahead of time if you want to come see us because we're not always there. It's all volunteer-based. But absolutely, if you wanted to come see us, please do. We have an open house on next Sunday, October 5th from 1 until 3, and we'd love to have you out there.
Well, it was nice to meet you and nice to meet Pierre, and I'm glad he didn't like rip my head off or anything. So. Joining us now is Dan Armitage. Dan, welcome to Crawford County Outdoors.
Thank you, Duane. I love coming here.
Tell us about this show as opposed to some others that you maybe got to.
Well, the percentage of people bringing their families. These Antlers and Anglers shows are just incredible in that the percentage of adults to children is higher than, and I take this show from Denver to New York, and usually it's, we get the bubbas, we get the guys that are really into hunting and fishing at those shows. But here, as you can see, all the families that show up, it's great.
I listened in on your seminar. You really orient towards the kids. I think that's great.
Well, I grew up going to sports shows as a little kid and watching all these programs that were directed at adults, directed at bass anglers and accomplished walleye anglers and the turkey hunters who knew what they were doing. And I thought, as a kid, there's nothing really to tell me how to get introduced to these sports, how to do the basics of this kind of stuff. So I thought if I ever got the chance to do a kids fishing program that I would, and that was 15 years ago, and it sort of evolved into this kids fishing 411 from the 411 for dial 1 for information. I should probably be fishing Google search now, but yeah, that's really where it comes from, and exhibitors and people come up all the time now and say thanks for doing something for the kids. Because I guess there's not very many people doing it.
Now this large tank, this mobile tank here, has got to be something that's very, very helpful to you for your seminar.
It's an excellent backdrop. There's about a half a dozen companies that do these mobile fishing tanks like this. This is the Hog Trough. It's one of the best, one of the oldest in existence. They do a great job making sure that the fish are healthy, that we got good water in it, that there's a variety of fish for kids to look at so they can see a crappie or see what a bluegill looks like or see a bass or see a trout, and it makes a big difference. And for me, as sort of the Gallagher of the sports show seminar business, I need as many props as you saw, the world's biggest fishing hook and the world's biggest bobber. I kind of need those things, to kind of keep the kids' attention.
Well, Dan, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, I love coming here. You guys have a wealth of outdoor opportunities, and it's always fun to come here.
Joining us now, Don O'Day, Jeff Finch. Jeff, let me start with you. Pretty interesting bird here we've got. Tell us a little bit.
This is an ornate hawk eagle. Her name's Shiva. They originate from South America, and she's my hunting partner. We hunt here in Pennsylvania, falconry.
We did a falconry show this springtime, and I saw a Harris hawk and a red-tailed hawk. Oh, yeah. Much different, maybe closer to the Harris hawk, maybe size-wise, this one?
Definitely bigger. The Harris hawk, depending if you're a male or a female, female Harris hawk might hunt around 36, 38 ounces. This bird right now weighs about 60 ounces.
Wow. Okay, so this one is bigger, closer to the red-tailed hawk than maybe in size.
Yeah, bigger. Actually, a little more than a red tail. Typical red tails I've hunted with have been in the mid 40s. Okay.
So. Well, I was fascinated. That show was really fun. So, what kind of any techniques or anything that is special with this breed?
Well, I don't know of another ornate hawk eagle, certainly in the region, possibly not in North America right now, being used for falconry. But if I had to compare it, it would be like hunting with a goshawk. I also hunt with a goshawk, which is an accipiter. And the reason I compare them is that the ornate hawk eagle is a jungle hunting species, and she has a very long tail and short, broad wings, like an accipiter, like would be the sharp-shinned Cooper's hawk. So they're a fast flight, quick maneuvering bird.
The sport itself, how'd you get involved with that?
It's funny. I was interested since the time I was a kid. I knew a falconer that I grew up near, a man named Earl Shriver, who would always share his birds and do little programs, and read the book My Side of the Mountain by Gene Craighead in probably 5th or 6th grade, and later found out that it's a regulated sport that you can find through the Game Commission.
What would you tell somebody who's thinking about it? Maybe that's something I'd like to take up.
The first thing I tell them is to read a little. Go to the Pennsylvania Game Commission website. You have to search a little bit, but if you find falconry, there's a wealth of information there. And the next step is to find yourself a falconer. We're few and far between, but typically we ask people to spend at least a season with us, really understanding what it's all about before they take it on.
Now, we have a very interesting sculpture here. Now, was this the model, this bird the model for that?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
A couple years ago, I found out that Jeff had this bird, and a friend of mine got in contact with Jeff, and he agreed to bring it up to my house, and he brought it to my house, and we took a lot of photos, and I did my best to carve the bird, with the photos that I had, but I don't think I did the bird justice.
It's remarkable. I mean, to me, it's like it's like almost like a mirror there. It's really something to see.
Thank you. Yeah.
How do you get even the details within the feathers and how do you do that?
I do that with a burning pen. Yeah, and it's a time-consuming process. I worked on this bird for about 6 months steady. I had it in my shop for over 2 years when I was working on it, but I looked at it a lot. You know, I didn't work on it every day.
Well, that's remarkable. Congratulations. That's phenomenal. Got to be pretty cool to have the bird, kind of like memorialized there in the sculpture.
Definitely, it's fantastic. And the funny thing is the different postures the bird will take. Right now, she's watching on a little nervous, so you see her feathers are very tight and sleek. The day that we took pictures at Dawn's house, she would have been very relaxed and rousted and filled her feathers out. So, that's a little more representative of her relaxed. And this is her checking out a lot of new things right now.
Well, guys, thanks for being with us.
I took some liberties, too. I took some artistic liberties,
Well, that's really cool. And thanks for being with us here on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Ready? Go get it. All right, Crash. Well, Crash and I enjoyed our time here at the Antlers and Anglers show. Hope you enjoyed it too. And make sure you join us next time on Crawford County Outdoors. Ready for another one? Okay. Go get it. All right.